Hello, it's Ruby and I'm currently here in Richmond. I've got one day to spend in Richmond tomorrow and I'm so excited for this because Richmond is an area of London I've never explored, but there are so many things here that I really want to see. I was at London Book Fair today with the National Year of Reading, and then late tomorrow I'm at an event with Substack, and so because I was going to be in London for both days, I thought I would make a trip of it and come to Richmond and spend a night in a hotel. For reference, this is my room. I was upgraded to a double, which was very nice. And then this is the bathroom, and there's the desk. My favourite thing is probably the phone. I went down and had dinner by myself, which is always nice. I honestly feel very comfortable eating dinner by myself now. I didn't used to, but I've done it so much that I don't really feel any embarrassment for it. So if you do feel embarrassed going out for a meal by yourself, know that the more you do it, the easier it does get, and soon you'll just be able to go for a meal by yourself and not even think about it. Like, I barely realised I was eating by myself. But anyway, I'm gonna have a shower. They've got Penhaligon's. How fancy is that? I've never seen that in a hotel before. Oh, and my blouse, it's really nice. It's got these like ribbons on it. I got it on Vinted, and one of the ribbons here has fallen off, so I've used a safety pin to pin it together, but it doesn't really look right. I just need to get some thread and actually sew it together. I forgot to do that before today. And when I'd finished my shower, I came out and saw a mysterious note waiting for me on my pillow. A reminder to have a cup of tea, dear traveller. What an ingenious thought. Now that I've got my tea, remember to check that your VPN is changed so you can keep your data secure. Two excellent reminders. You can't spend a night somewhere new without first getting a cup of tea, and two, checking that your data is going to stay secure while you're on a different Wi-Fi network. This is one of the first things I do when I get into a hotel. I use NordVPN to change my VPN address because it's the fastest VPN server out there, and you can change your VPN with just one click. You have your map and then you can choose any location. A VPN is a really easy way to keep your data secure and keep yourself safe online. But not only are you safer because you've changed your VPN, but NordVPN also comes with something called Threat Protection Pro, which is maybe even my favorite part. This can basically detect shopping scams, which is increasingly important as scams become more prolific online. And in September 2025 alone, NordVPN managed to block over 54 million online scam websites. Threat Protection Pro also blocks dangerous websites, it checks your downloads, and it blocks dangerous ads. So it just makes like online browsing safer. If you do want to try NordVPN, then you can use nordvpn.com/Ruby for 4 months extra for free on the 2-year plan. And they also have a 30-day money back guarantee, so if you get it and then you're not sure about it, you can get your money back. No questions asked. Anyway, thank you so much NordVPN for sponsoring this video and for keeping me safe whilst I am on a different Wi-Fi network. And I'm now going to enjoy my tea, and I should probably do skincare. I'm really bad at remembering to do skincare. This is nearly the extent of my skincare routine every morning and every evening. It just makes my skin feel so fresh. I'm now just going to read some more of this. I'm really enjoying it, but I keep on getting distracted by books at the moment, so I haven't finished a full book for a while. And I also want to update my commonplace book. Good morning. It's about 6:30. This bed was so comfortable. Okay. I read in bed until like 7:15, and I'm actually gonna get breakfast before I go to Richmond Park because otherwise I know I'm gonna get hungry halfway through exploring and I want to stay there for like 2 hours. But yes, here is my outfit. So I walked out along this path where you could see the river and you could see the park, and oh my gosh, it was so beautiful, especially with all of the spring blossom. I ended up actually going to Long Black Cafe. The best part about this cafe was honestly the way that everyone there seemed to know each other, and people were coming in for their daily coffees and like greeting each other by name, and just, it was so beautiful to observe. I really did enjoy it. And it was also the perfect place to do some morning journaling. Okay, I've made it to Richmond Park and it's very warm. Oh my gosh, it's really sunny today. I wasn't expecting it to be so sunny. What I'm going to try and do is go down to Pen Ponds, because apparently the deer sometimes congregate there. And I just realised I don't have bird seed on me. I was going to bring it, but then I was like, oh, when will I get a chance to feed birds? Forgetting that I was going to a park. So I have no food for the birds, which is quite sad, but honestly I'm so excited. And there are kind of roads going through this part of the park, which is quite strange. If you know Anne of Green Gables, you'll know that that is the real life Lake of Shining Waters. When Anne arrives in Avonlea, she calls like all of the natural features by these incredible and romantic names, and she calls the Lake of Shining Waters, and that's exactly what Pen Pond there looks like. It's really, it looks like liquid silver. Look at that jackdaw. So I've been walking down this way and I stood here and I said aloud to myself, because I often speak aloud to myself, I said, now where are those deer? And then I turned to the left and there are some right there. Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. After watching the deer for a while, I just sat on this bench and took in the sun. This was just in front of the pond, the Lake of Shining Waters, as Anne would say. It's very beautiful. It felt like one of those moments, those bubbles, which are just frozen in time. And I love those moments where kind of you can forget for a moment where you are and what the time is and what day it is. There were also so many beautiful birds, and I especially loved this one. This is an Egyptian goose, and they're not native to England, but they were brought into the country as ornamental birds. Honestly, this bird was just making me smile so much. It looked like he was wearing a cape or a cloak, like because of how long his neck was, and he kept on like tucking in his neck a little bit as if he was putting his cloak up against the wind, and it just made me very happy to watch. Not expecting that to happen. It's like they're looking to cross the road. I'm honestly in disbelief that those deer were just running along the side of the road, and they stopped and they stared at me for a good few minutes. I got a couple of clips, but they were there for ages, and I just stayed and waited until they went, because first I didn't want to disturb them by moving, but also how incredible to have deer that close to you. Deer are my favourite animals. I've temporarily come back to the room. I've got about an hour until I have to check out, but I'm going to check out before that. And I found myself frustrated that I'm so drained from having socialised yesterday, because I didn't socialise for very long, mind you. I was talking with people for maybe an hour and 45 minutes total, but then on top of that, obviously the London Book Fair is very busy. For reference, here's a video of it. Like, it's massive, it's huge, and as you're walking from place to place, there are just so many people everywhere. So after my meeting, which was about an hour, I tried wandering around because I really wanted to explore, but I got so overwhelmed that I ended up leaving and sitting in a coffee shop for 40 minutes to decompress before coming back and going to this drinks reception networking thing, which was, again, like very social oriented. And so I didn't socialise for very long, but it was very draining, and I'm still feeling the effect of it now. And I kind of am saying this to validate that, like, if you are introverted, then you might just find yourself getting extremely drained from small social interactions or things that other people would call small social interactions. And I can often feel quite silly for feeling as tired and as drained as I do. Like, I've just spent a morning by myself. I went for breakfast, but obviously, like, I was surrounded by people, and then I went on a very long walk. But I'm still feeling like socially drained. And right now, all I want to do is just sit here and do some reading and some journaling, and that's completely fine. But I find it frustrating because I'm here for one day and I've come so that I can see Richmond, and I want to go to Kew Gardens, I'm going to go to Strawberry Hill House, I want to see the open bookshop, and obviously I'm going to do these things, but it frustrates me that I'm feeling so socially drained that I know I'm not going to enjoy it as much as I would. Me talking about this isn't like offering a solution, it's not constructive at all, but I just wanted to say this because I often feel quite silly and I can get very frustrated with myself that I get so socially tired and socially drained, and I know that's something other introverts also feel, and so it's more just to validate that it's an experience which lots of people feel, and it's okay even if it's really annoying and it ends up like getting in the way of plans that you might have. I was just going to come back to the room and pack, but I think I'm going to sit in bed and read for like 20 minutes. Just like the idea of being around people right now doesn't feel very appealing, and even the prospect feels quite overwhelming. I am still going to do it, but I'm going to try and prepare myself as much as possible so that I can try and avoid some of the overwhelm at least. But yes, anyway, just a little honest just a little honest catch up. Let me know if you're the same. I would find it validating to know if anyone else is the same. I've spoken with a few people who've said the same thing, but like, it's not something I often talk about with people because I do find it embarrassing. And obviously, when you're talking about it with other people, the implication might then be that they're being draining on you, and it's obviously nothing to do with the actual person, it's just to do with the fact that you're socialising. And some people just find that more tiring than others. But yeah, I really would love to know if you're the same. Anyway, I'm gonna read. I'm reading H is for Hawk, which is really good. I'd dipped into it before. I'm gonna balance you on my case. I'd dipped into this before, but then after seeing the film, I returned to it, and it's so excellent. I really love the writing style, and I love how it's like educational at the same time as being a memoir. And she's kind of jumping in and out of telling about this man called White, who was the author of Sword in the Stone, and so she references his memoir of Keeping the Hawk and puts it in relation to her own, which is really interesting. Okay, anyway, I'm just going to read a chapter, and I know this will make me feel better because reading always does. What a cute shot. Now, the wind means you can't quite hear what I'm saying here, but essentially I was very excited to find that one of the bookshops on my Pinterest board was in Richmond. And it's here. Oh my gosh, look how beautiful. It's such a beautiful bookshop. It's like labyrinthine and sprawling. And then after that, I went to the Alligator's Mouth, which is the most charming, beautiful children's bookshop I've ever been to. It feels like stepping into a story of some kind. It doesn't feel like a real place. And they had this wall that was filled with drawings from illustrators who had visited the shop. The logo was also drawn by Chris Riddell, and the Alligator's Mouth as a title comes from the Lemony Snicket quote. A book is like an alligator's mouth. If you see one open, you often end up disappearing inside. If you're in Richmond, you have to go to the Alligator's Mouth. Like, I already want to go back. And then after that, I left Richmond to go to Twickenham, and specifically Strawberry Hill House, which is just the most incredible museum. I had such a great time. I cannot wait to show you. All the daffodils. Now, Strawberry Hill House was built by Horace Walpole in 1749, and this was before the actual Gothic revival. It was thought that this building inspired much of that revival of like medieval structures and architectural tropes. So originally this building had been called Chopped Straw Hall, and the owner was a coachman, but he converted this building into the most extraordinary and unique museum storybook building of sorts. Look at that ceiling. Walpole himself didn't have a family seat, like a family residence, but this building embodied the kind of essence of an ancestral home. And so he adds things like family crests and stained glass windows. I love this stained glass especially. That might be my favourite panel. Like, they're all just so different. And this one, look, this little September one, showing Libra as well. But they're not actually inherited, they're things that he's found from various different places, and the whole building is filled with curiosities. So for example, this huge ornamental fishbowl where actually his favourite cat drowned as it was catching a goldfish. And you can kind of get a sense of how many curious objects were collected and displayed around this house in this room from this image. We've got all of these empty shelves, and then in this image you can see how full it would have been. And I'm so struck from all the pictures of just how many curious things he collected and how everything was just decorated with these eclectic objects from the past, and how nothing really goes together, but he's creating his own ancestry through doing it. And it feels like the process of storytelling, like he's becoming an author of who he is through choosing the ancestry that he's displaying and kind of creating the ancestry and choosing objects that have nothing to do with his lineage, but because he's chosen it, it becomes part of him. I just love how he's an author and his process of life imitates his art. It's like, does art imitate life, or does life imitate art? As like the age-old question from Oscar Wilde. I would highly recommend this place. My absolute favourite room though was the library, which is just amazing. Oh my gosh. Of course this is modelled off like ideas of medieval libraries. It doesn't actually look like a medieval library because bookcases like this weren't common in medieval libraries, but it definitely kind of taps into your imagination of what a medieval library would look like. He had an enormous collection of books, and Horace Walpole was also an author. So he wrote the book The Castle of Otranto, and that book was actually inspired by the house, as opposed to the house being inspired by his book. It really feels like you've stepped into some kind of fairy tale storybook world. It's very strange, it's a little bit uncanny. There's like a surrealist feeling to the whole building. I knew that this was a medieval revivalist, and of course it's inspired by medieval architecture, and then went on to inspire the medieval revival in the 19th century. But it's also very clearly not medieval, and very aware of the fact that it's not. Like, so much of the building is made from paper. Like the kind of stone engravings that's wallpaper, and like even the kind of like engravings on the ceiling, it's paper, it's made of paper mache. So it kind of almost feels like a drawing, like a 3D drawing, or one of those Victorian paper houses which were used as toys. It kind of feels like that. Like, it feels like it's not meaning to be real, it's not declaring itself to be real, which becomes so charming and interesting and unique, and makes you feel like you're somewhere that doesn't actually exist, like you're in some sort of liminal space. It's very, I've never been somewhere like this before. This, for reference, is what the room originally would have looked like. The roof of that really impressive room is made of paper mache, and you can't tell when you look at it, but it's there, like embedded, like this very transient thing which could be destroyed, and it will be destroyed by history, but also historically hasn't been because so many manuscripts remain, obviously. I just love the fact that it's been preserved, even though you wouldn't expect paper to be preserved. And it's kind of testament to the way that now, but also previous owners, have made those efforts to make sure that this place survives. And how he as a collector also brought all of these objects together, like the ghosts of these objects living with one another, so that they were kind of kept safe. It kind of becomes like a private museum. I love it. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. So he had his own printing press, and when he wrote and printed the Castle of Otranto, it was with his own press. It was with the Strawberry Hill printing press. And look, which take forever to put together as well. I did a workshop in using antiquarian printing presses, and they are so time consuming. But look, this is one set, which is quite cool as an example. And then up here, as if left to dry, got the pamphlets.
If you like stories, if you like the Gothic, then this is a museum I would highly recommend. It's unlike any other historic house I've visited, and I have been thinking about it so much ever since.
How incredible is that? And I'm sat on this bench surrounded by daffodils. I would highly recommend coming here. Like, I wasn't really sure what to expect, but it's just unlike anywhere else I've been. It doesn't feel like a period property. Like, it feels almost like a film set, but not like a film set. It feels like you've stepped into a book. Like, it's very surrealist. It almost feels quite Alice in Wonderland-ish. The writing of the book, which is strange and unusual, and, you know, playing with perception and space, and you get lost in it. It feels labyrinthine, like you're never quite sure where you are. And there's something so romantic about the author, about an author living in this space. Okay, I'm leaving now, and I'm going to try and get the bus, but I'm always so bad at finding buses. Also, look at all the daffodils. And all the daffodils.
So in the evening, as I say, I was going to this event with Substack, and so I met up with Emily, Rose, Charlotte for dinner at Francomanca first, and the whole evening was very lovely. And obviously this morning I was feeling very drained, overwhelmed, but by the end of the day I was feeling very happy indeed. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have more than just a productive week.